Well, you're never gonna believe this, but I'm telling you it's true. My 35-year-old car has an oil leak. I know, it is absolutely absurd. This one, however, is gonna get a little juicy. Not juicy because it's oil. Juicy as in different, difficult, and more so hard to get stuff for, possibly. I don't know yet. But fun, that's the big one. We're gonna have fun. It's leaking from inside the distributor. Inside. So kind of the whole point of this video is to show that you can fix stuff that was really never meant to be fixed. Saving you money, maybe even keeping the car on the road, and more pride in yourself driving it around. That's the big one. And you can do that for a lot of parts. You can get bearings for alternators, AC compressors, almost anything on the car. The car manufacturers source all that stuff from somewhere else, and you can do the same. Even if you can't get that part, you can source locally or from other places, specific manufacturers, parts within that part to fix that part, so you don't have to buy the expensive part if that's even a part that you can get. So I gotta get some stuff out of the way here, but there weren't any how-tos that I could find on this specific distributor, but an OEM distributor for this car, at least from what I could find, is around $500 or more. There could be a cheaper OE one out there, I didn't care to look because I wanted to go this route. Now you can find aftermarket ones for around $100, but in my experience, which I've done a lot of distributors, it's been a while though, because you don't see them much anymore, they're one of the most failed parts when it comes to aftermarket replacements. I saw a whole lot of aftermarket distributors only last about a year or so. An OE distributor with only 85,000 miles should have a lot of life left in it. Even though Toyota doesn't list the oil seal and the bearings separately and they don't have it available, I want to show that you can still get it, you can still replace it, and it won't be a cheap aftermarket one. So first off, we can see a nasty oil drip on that coolant hose right there, and then it's leaking on top of the transmission. I just rebuilt this transmission 87 miles ago, so that's all fresh. Back when I worked on cars for a living, which I've did for quite a few years, there were certain things that we started not ever buying aftermarket, if we could help it. The biggest one was AC compressors, especially a rebuilt one. If you have to, go with new. But another part that had a high failure rate with going aftermarket was distributors. Oh, it's nasty under there, definitely. I haven't even taken the cap off yet. So that's another reason for not going with one of those. A lot of times, not always, you definitely can get lucky, and some cars are worse than others, some models, but this one only has 85,000 miles on it. It should have quite a bit of life left in it if we can clean. Oh yeah, wow, that is so bad. Not to mention an 85,000 mile, 35-year-old distributor cap and rotor. And that's one of the other things. I have to get this done right now, because I'm getting ready to install new tune-up parts. So I gotta take the distributor totally apart. Obviously, I'm gonna clean it, remove the shaft seal that's leaking, remove the bearing, measure those things, find replacements, hopefully just on Amazon, and have it sent over here. And then we're practically rebuilding a relatively expensive part that was never really made to be rebuilt on this car. Seriously, look at all that oil. That poor ignition rotor had to be sloshing around in that stuff. It doesn't look wet. But that's nuts. Don't worry, I do already have the O-ring that goes on the outside of the distributor housing. But this one is most certainly leaking on the inside. I'm gonna take a picture so that I know and can remember for sure how the rotor was clocked. So we gotta unplug some stuff. There's another bolt under here somewhere. Hopefully that's it. Now for the more delicate stuff. So it's awesome that this gasket looks like it's in perfect shape right here. That's pretty cool. Don't have to buy that. Only available from the dealer. Remove rotor. That's just a friction fit. That is pretty worn. I'm about 95% sure all the tune-up stuff is original. I'm gonna take pictures along the way to make sure that everything goes back exactly how it's supposed to, because all these sensors and sensitive electricals have to come out of there. First though, there are two different sensors in here, and I'm gonna use feeler gauges to see what the gap is between the sensor wheel and the magnetic pickup, so that if I can't find the spec, I can just set it back to where it was. All right, that empties out the distributor. There's some little retainers in there that look like they're just there to retain the seal. We got to pound this shaft out first, so we have to remove this pin, which I've heard is not easy, and then that whole distributor shaft should come out. Now this key right here is not perfectly symmetrical, so we do want to make sure we mark it so that it goes back on the shaft the same way. All right, I've got this set up for some pin punching. Got a socket as a recess for that pin to slide into. Some supports to make sure that we're not putting any pressure on the shaft, because if we bend that shaft, it's all over. Wow. All right, you see what I have going on here? Because beating it was not working. So now I'm using my vise as a shop press. I've got the receptacle socket and I've got the pushing socket. It's a T15 Torx. Is this gonna work? I have no idea, but I am wearing safety glasses. This is not catching on anything. Man, this thing is tight in there. This is honestly terrifying. Something's gonna have to give eventually, whether it's what I want it to be or not. Ah, there we go. Movement. Yes. The good kind, I think. It felt good anyway. Oh man, that is in there. This vise actually used to be bolted to this bench. That sure would be helpful right now. Whew. Ugh. All right, this socket's not going to drive it the whole way through. There it is, almost out. Ow. There we go. Boop. That part's easy. I don't know if this shaft is pressed in. I guess it is. So it's probably pressed into the bearing behind the seal, or at least I'm pretty sure there is. Oh wait, that is the bearing that we can see right there, not the seal. So the seal is behind the bearing. So we do have to take those out because most likely that bearing is going to come off with the shaft, and then we'll have to separate it later or afterwards. So we got to pull these two retainers out, but then we're going to have to be really careful separating the bearing from the shaft. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and the seal came out with it too. Look at that. You know, the other option is just reusing the bearing. It's had plenty of oil. Doesn't make any bad noises. Ooh, that's crunchy. Yeah, that is bad. Broken and everything. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't see any reason to replace this bearing. Seal is exactly 20 millimeters on the outside, and the shaft is 10. And then you need thickness, which looks like 5.5 millimeters. That means this seal is a 10 by 20 by 5.5. Obviously, you want to polish the shaft. Make sure it's nice and clean for the new seal. I'm probably going to touch that with a little bit of super light sandpaper. Let's see if this O-ring here is crunchy. Go ahead and get it off just to make sure the one I have is correct. Yeah, it already cracked. Pretty much pure plastic now. Oh, well. Hey, it's coming back around. Aw, man. By the way, if you did need a bearing, it would be the same thing. Inner diameter, we already know that shaft is 10 millimeters, so it's 10 millimeter by outer diameter, which is 30 millimeters by thickness, which is 9 millimeters. So this specific bearing is a 10 by 30 by 9. And here it is, a measly 2 days later. Thanks to Amazon, we have a new seal. It seems like quality. It is metal framed, encased in rubber, nitrile rubber. The seal was less than $6. I'll put a link in the description for it. I got all the parts cleaned up pretty nicely. So we're gonna start by pushing the new seal down in its bore. I already verified that it fits nicely over the distributor shaft. I'm gonna use this block of wood and a 14 millimeter socket to make sure we push it in squarely. This new seal is actually 1.5 millimeters thicker than the old one. So more than likely there's a theory out there that says it'll probably be better. I'm gonna get a little bit of ATF on that seal lip. Engine oil or even a grease would work fine. I just happen to have this handy. And then there's also a bushing right here that this portion of the distributor shaft rides on. And while that bushing is on the engine side of that new oil seal, meaning it's going to get lubricated by engine oil, I'm gonna go ahead and put a dissolvable grease on it just for that initial startup. So I'll just drop a little bit of that in here a little ways. Make sure the shaft is nice and tight in that bushing. You don't want it to have any play, because if it does, then these rotor wheels are gonna smash against the sensors, and we don't want that. Gently work it through that new seal, out that rear bushing, and gently press that bearing in place. Nice. Yep, no play whatsoever. That is tight. Spins freely. So engine oil also gets in on this side of that bushing to help lubricate it. Crazy, the engine oil is also helping lubricate your distributor. Next are the bearing retainers. I know you can't see it on camera. There is actually a tiny hairline crack right here in this pickup. Was that already there? I don't know. I guess we'll find out when it doesn't start. So we gotta line up our marks. Chisel mark there, chisel mark there. That's exactly how this goes. Insert pin. Using the two sockets again just to finish it off that last tiny bit. All right, we're gonna put this these pickup assemblies inside. This one goes down there. Get our grommet pushed in. Bolt holes lined up. I did actually find the spec in the Haynes manual. It is 0.2 millimeters to 0.4 millimeters. So this upper one here was actually a little bit over spec. Now it is absolutely imperative that these screws don't loosen up. So I'm gonna put some blue Loctite on these screw threads. I'll go a 0.33 millimeter. Put my feeler gauge in between the teeth and the sensor and tighten the screws up. Yeah, if these screws loosened up while the car was in motion, the distributor would be dead in a fraction of a second. Now we're gonna mount the ignition coil. This little gasket here is in terrible shape. It's supposed to be rubber, but it's basically brittle plastic now, and it's actually in 3 different pieces. Luckily, it has little bosses that it fits into, so it can't move. This is gonna sit right on there like that. 4 screws, rubber grommet. It's funny, all the other rubber parts on this are like perfect, except of course the seal we replaced and that coil gasket, or mounting, whatever you'd call it. New O-ring. Grease on the O-ring. Coil beauty cover. Cap gasket. Ignition rotor. We're gonna keep her clocked about like that. That's where she was. Now I do have new ignition parts getting ready to go in this. I have everything except the new rotor. That fella, it's supposed to be in on Thursday. That way I can drive it for a few days and make sure that no new oil shows up inside the cap. Here's where we find out if we saved 500 bucks or just wasted a bunch of time. Fun times. Let's go. All right, watch for flying parts. So I'm trying to check my timing to make sure it's set properly. And I'm sure the camera doesn't catch it, but that timing mark is extremely erratic. Even though I have it in base timing mode, that's probably because the timing belt is 35 years old. So we can't really check timing. I'll just have to make sure it seems like it drives okay. Judging off the witness marks of the distributor, I think that's about exactly where it was before. But that doesn't really matter for this video. That's not the point. The point is you can fix, rebuild, repair, whatever, parts that aren't necessarily designed to be repaired or fixed or rebuilt. I noticed that for some distributors, Toyota does list the seal and the bearing separately. And they're different sizes, it wouldn't work, but for whatever reason, they don't do that on this one. Anyway, there's no new oil leaks. I verified underneath with a mirror also. And I just saved myself $500 or a cheap aftermarket distributor that might fail in a year or two. Leave me stranded somewhere. That could still happen to this one, especially with that cracked pickup. And that won't always be the case. There's plenty of aftermarket stuff, distributors included, that go forever. But kind of risky. If you can help it, I'd rather just save money and rebuild the better one.